So last night I was sleeping in the Sheltui hammock, and you could check out the video. I'll put a link right here. So you could check out the video for that if you want to see a little bit more about it. But I was also using the Sky Tent shelter, Sky Tent 2. And it was pouring rain last night. So this was actually the first chance I've gotten to use this shelter in a downpour of rain. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I'm a pretty big fan of this shelter. I like it because if you have a hammock that doesn't have a bug net, then you're usually stuck with using a aftermarket bug net that kind of you stick over top of it, and you're just kind of really constricted in like the bug nest, like right here, and like you don't really have any space to move around or stick stuff in here with you. But in this shelter you get like tons of space. Like look how much space I have in here, and like it comes with tons of pockets and storage, and it even comes with like an under storage spot. You can put stuff on the ground there. Whoa, get a little wiggly, which is pretty awesome. But last night, like I said, it was my first test in a downpour of rain, and it didn't do as well as I thought it was going to. I was kind of disappointed. The whole bug netting was kind of really damp with water, and it obviously is bug netting, so it dries out pretty quickly. So already with the morning sun, it's starting to dry out. But if you were doing a camp out and it was raining for a couple of days, you'd have to stick this soaking wet bug net inside your sack, and it would kind of suck. And this part here was the worst. It was like this seam, it got just dripping. Like I could go like this and like water would be pouring down on the inside, and it goes all the way up to the top. So I was nervous that it was gonna soak down where the hammock comes in and then start to soak the hammock, but it didn't. Luckily enough, it didn't do that. But I can see how that could be a potential problem if that started to happen, if it had multiple days of rain maybe. But so I was kind of bummed out that this whole thing got so wet. It even got to the point where my underquilt is still damp. My underquilt, the second one that I was using, started to get wet. So we all know that that's a huge problem if you're trying to stay warm and you're starting to get your underquilt wet, because it's made from down. So if that gets wet, it's just toast. It's not going to do anything for you. So if you are already wet from a whole day of hiking, then you try to get into your shelter to warm up. You put your warm sleeping clothes on, then your underquilt gets wet, and then you start to get wet from the underquilt underneath you. You can get hypothermia. All kinds of bad things can happen. So I'm kind of bummed that that happened. So typically if you are with a regular tarp, you're so covered because you have so much extra space that your bug net's not going to get wet at all. But this one has such a limited amount of space between the bug netting and the tarp that if you get a slanted rain, it's going to come and hit you. Not you, but like the bug netting. And even so, like the storage section under here got water. It was like full of water before, so that kind of sucked. And because I liked the biggest thing I like is I could throw stuff under there, and then now I don't feel comfortable putting it under there if I know it's going to rain. And where do I put it? Because the tarp just goes to the edge of the hammock on both sides, so there's no extra space to put your gear, hang up your gear under the tarp. So I don't know, I'm kind of bummed out because this is my favorite shelter otherwise. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I could figure out a way to hang up my sack to this ridge line, but then look, if I do that, it's gonna bring the whole tarp down. I don't know, man. Just kind of bummed out about it because this is my favorite bug netting shelter for a hammock that I have that doesn't have a bug net attached to it already. So I still like it a lot, and I'm definitely gonna use it still because it does, like most of the time when I go camping, I try to go when it's not going to rain. So I'm still going to use it. And this is, like I said, this is the first time I've used it in a big rain, and it was raining a heck of a lot last night. Like you can see these giant puddles over here and stuff. But yeah, I'm kind of bummed out about it not doing as well as I thought I was going to. I mean, overall, I'm not soaking wet, and I should have been from the rain that was coming down last night. So it did do its job in the sense that I didn't get soaking wet, and my underquilt isn't soaking wet. It's just a little damp on the edges of it and stuff. So I mean, it did do its job, but when you think about how you expect a shelter or a tarp to perform and protect you in rainy weather, it really kind of sucked a little bit. But yeah, so just something to keep in mind if you're thinking of getting this and you're thinking, well, Nix's is the best, Nix's is the best. This is my first time using it in a full-out rain, so I still think it's really great. It's a really unique design. I like it a lot. I'm hoping to get my hands on the noob shelter in the future, so from SMR gear, and because they have apparently designed a very, very, very similar setup, but like super protective against rain and everything like that. So it seems like they took this kind of a concept and just kind of amped it up a little bit. So I'm hoping I can get my hands on that. But this is a great setup in terms of airflow, because like you can get so much air circulation. So in the summertime, if you know it's not going to rain in the next few days and you're going to go camping, this thing's the best. I really, really like it. But yeah, something to think about.